Hey, Coach, can you hear us, brother?
Yeah.
Good, man. How you doing, man?
Good, man. Just here watching knockover.
Hey, hey, man, that's a good thing, man. You and I, hey, that's what we do. We watch a knockover,
Yeah.
and hey, man, can you hear me pretty good? Coach, can you
Yeah,
hear
I'm
me
cool.
pretty good?
Yeah.
Okay, good, brother. Good, man. We're glad to have you in. We got Coach Bo Jones Jr. with us today. Coach Bo Jones is our head coach of our TMBTPROS, basketball legend here in the state of Virginia. Professional basketball player, 10 years. He is currently a assistant head coach at Richard Bland University, which is a JUCO here in Virginia. Born and raised in Richmond, Virginia. He is the son of basketball legend Bo Jones Sr. Welcome, my brother. Welcome, man. Thank you for joining us.
Man, appreciate it, Big Milk. Appreciate it.
First of all, I gotta tell you that your brother Trevor Lewis just says Leroy. I just sent it on there. Did you see him, your brother?
I see him down there. I see him. I'm surprised he ain't in the gym nowhere.
Coach, how you doing today, brother? Know you got a busy day, man. We've been trying to get you on here for a couple days. We appreciate you taking the time, man. You're doing so much to help our community, man. These kids, it's a difficult time right now. You got kids that are trying to get into school, they can't get in. You got the NCAA portal. You and I talk on a daily basis about kids that need your help. Help from college coaches, help from high school coaches. Talk a little bit about who Bo Jones Jr. is for those of them that don't know who you are. Some people down in Miami or some of the fans around. Tell the people who you are. Born and raised, who your father is. Very important to me.
Born and raised.
Mm-hmm.
Man, as you guys know, playing for your father is a tough task, especially in high school. I couldn't imagine playing with my dad in college, but it makes it tougher. Transition there to VCU, proud Ram alumni. Played there. I think I had a great career. Played
Legendary
football.
career. Legendary career. Not great, brother. Legendary.
Appreciate that. Myself and Tia Robinson, she's there right now. Me, her, and Justin Pelarosa, the only three kids from Southside that play at VCU.
Mm-hmm.
And, Gerald Henderson with the Huguenot, well, from what I hear, he's not from Southside. So, I'm proud to be part of that history. Hopefully going forward, we get some more kids from the Southside that wear that black and gold. And I went on playing football for a while, played in Canada. It was a great experience. I played for Coach Dave Yeager, who coached the Kings for a while. I think he's an NBA assistant somewhere. So he was a great start for my career. Gave me some good tools that I still use today. After I stopped playing ball, I came back home and started teaching in the city. And just, how we talk, Milk.
Yeah.
Kids that change.
Right.
Environment changed. And you playing ball and traveling like in and out a lot, you're not really seeing what's going on in classrooms from 9 to 2 o'clock. So I started teaching and just gravitated over to coaching. I coached girls basketball in the city, RPS, Milk.
Yes, sir.
RPS.
Yes, sir.
For 12 years. And, I got called crazy for taking the girl's job. Why would you take that job? You can't win in the city. And we changed all that.
Mm-hmm.
We broke some barriers down, created history. I had one of my players go play pro ball in Spain, so I'm proud of that on the female side. Just a lot of great players we had over the years, a lot of winning programs, like never had a losing season. So I'm proud of that as well.
Right.
And transition there, I applied for board job at Huguenot, didn't get it, had to take the L on it. Got finesse out of the job, but just didn't get it. So I had to learn from it and then go back to the drawing board and got a call to go down Richard Bland and be an assistant coach for Coach Andrew Lacey. So this will be the second year down Richard Bland. Last year was canceled because of the COVID. So, that's where I'm at right now. I coached the women's semi-pro team. I forgot about that in 2000, I think 16 or 15. That was a good experience too. So just been coaching and learning, man. Just being a sponge and taking them tools, man. You guys taught me. Yourself, Big Duke, Parkway, Harold Dean, Corey, man, so many guys, man. Warren Peebles. Man, Peebles was very influential, man, in my career.
Right. Warren Peebles.
When I started training up at the boys' home, man, like T used to always tell me, you know, you got to believe every shot can go in.
Right.
Pete was big, man. He gave me some good lessons on how to play in the post, how to defend the post. It doesn't have to be a pro. You know, Pete used to come to the gym with the white bag, with 4 pair of socks, 4 shirts. You know, he was strapped. And I'm coming to the gym with just a towel. He's like, nah, we can't do that.
Right.
So I used to watch Pete a lot, man.
Right.
He was a big help. JoJo Chambers.
Right.
JoJo. Of course, Ben Wallace. You know, great example for all of us, all those young guys, man. So just, I was fortunate to be around a lot of cheat sheet, man.
Right.
Weiss and Larry Brown, them guys went up in the same area. They didn't have Butch Morris on the backside of me. I mean, I grew up around NBA guys.
Right.
You know, like great athletes. Larry Brown, 6'6", playing point guard and playing quarterback.
Right. Right.
Fonnie Mason. So I grew up around athletes my whole life. So it's a cheat sheet. So, and I'm grateful for that. You know, for a time coming up, I used to be ashamed because other kids didn't have that same access I had. But, you know, as I got older, I just feel like I deserved it. You know, I had to earn my way up. I mean, you was there, Milt.
I was there.
I had to earn my way up. So I'm just grateful for that. And now I'm just passing on what you guys gave to me. You know, showing the guys how to be pros and be in college and not with a do-rag.
Right.
You know, you can wear that when you get back around the way. You know, it's a funny story behind that because I'm walking on campus one day, you know, and got the matching shoes with the do-rag because that was the style back then. So Pop would drive up in the money green Benz, and he parked the car and said, hey, man, what you doing? So I'm like, what's up, Pop? What's going on? He said, man, take that off your head, man.
Yeah.
Man, you on the college campus.
Right.
And he was dead serious.
Right.
And he was dead serious about it. And I thought he was joking. He was like, nah, man, you can't do that. That ain't what it's about. That ain't what you was around. So,
can't do it.
You know, man, just having you guys around a lot is like what I do a lot now for the guys in high school, the kids in college and pros, man. Just help them out as much as I can. If I can't help them, I know somebody who can.
Right.
You know, that's our thing, Milt. We ain't lying nobody. We ain't running no jokes. We ain't running scams.
Right.
If I can't help you, man, you ask anybody I deal with, I'm going to point them in the right direction that somebody can help them.
Right.
So, that's what I'm doing, man. And it's a part of God's will. You know, he got you where you want to be sometimes, and this is where he want me to be right now. So, you know, I'm going to serve and be gracious.
Right. Special shout out to Coach McDaniel Anderson. I'm the legend. I'm just tuned in to our broadcast.
Yes, sir.
We're honored.
Hey, Matt gave that nickname, man. Matt gave the ESPN nickname. Most folks don't know that.
Coach McDaniel Anderson in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Coach McDaniel Anderson, who will shout you out at the Summer League. Coach McDaniel Anderson is in the building. Coach McDaniel Anderson.
Stackhouse.
Stackhouse. Coach McDaniel Anderson, legendary.
Stackhouse.
Quarterback from the mighty Armstrong, the legendary. So, Bo, speaking of legends, you talk about so many things that you do in the community. We talk about it. For some people who don't understand why you do it, I want you to talk a little bit about your father, man, and your family and the Jones family. How influential you guys are to inner city basketball players or inner city people like myself. I'm talking a little bit about why you don't have a choice but to give back.
Man, to be honest with you, Milt, in the household I was raised in, I was fortunate to have 2 parents. So my mom was a social worker, dad was a teacher and coach. So and my sister's a lawyer. So I mean, serving is what we were raised up on. Giving back to the community. My dad, he coached for 47, 48 years, you know, and I was a ball boy for the early JW teams and Pete Wolford, Al Lee and them guys, Ray Neblett, man, so many more guys. So just seeing what the coaches back then did, and my dad driving kids home and those long, hard talks, putting kids out practice. My dad put me out practice one day. No lie.
I believe that.
Put me out practice one day. Because I called time out. The other team was beating us, and I called time out. And he was like, hold on, man. You don't run this.
Right.
Told me to get off the court, ask anybody. Told me to get off the court. He said, take them keys too, and leave them keys and call your mama. Hey, Milt, true story. Ask anybody you can ask. Call your mama.
Hey, they didn't play, man.
So it's just, just back then it was different. Whatever the coach said, we had to ride with it.
Right.
Not because what the coach said, it's because they got us in the right direction.
Right.
So it's been a part of the community. Always what I was raised up on. Back then doing freelance. My dad was at basketball practice, football practice, JW. Mom's at work. So either I was a ball boy at the practices or I was at Westover. Still part of the community. That's the record I was raised up on. Fats out there, Pooju, man, so many guys at Westover. I mean, that was the hub almost. It was nothing like playing at Westover and you catch that stoplight Milt right there, right? It was all my kid as a dream. Somebody see me hitting a deep three or driving while they at the stoplight.
At the stoplight.
That was special.
On the corner of Jank and Forest Hill.
You look around 4 or 5 o'clock. 4 or 5 o'clock, I used to always make sure we was going the opposite end so the traffic can see us play. You know what I'm saying? But it's a double-edged sword, too. You checking the wrong person on that end and get chopped up at that stoplight, it ain't good. So
and people used to ride by to see the game. And people used to ride by just to see the game, just to see people playing, man. Just to see it playing.
Yeah, one of my goals is to get them courts back on Westover somehow, how we talk. So that's one of my goals. Not quite sure why they took them down, but it's been too long, man. And that's where I grew up, like so many other kids grew up at.
I grew up there playing. I started going there when I was 16 years old. It's 5 minutes from where I grew up.
Guys coming 5 deep.
Yeah, and we was coming across that bridge.
Coming 5 deep over Westover.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
We used to come.
And
hey, man, I used to play over there every day, Bo Jones. When I was 16 years old, I used to play because it was 5 minutes from my house. So I used to come across the bridge every day. You can find a game over there every day. Every day you can find a game over there. I'm talking about a good game. Yeah. Hey, man.
You were so lucky to get on that first court.
Ooh, man. But you had to wait, Bo,
because that first court run was unreal.
And if you wasn't from Southside.
Hey, look. Hey, look. Man, that's how I met John DeFrere at Westover, man. My man John is one of my closest friends.
Right.
He's from Church Hill. So he come down Westover. Well, he's from New York, so he had all the left hand at 9, 10 years old when he was tall with curly hair. So man, he come down Westover to play on one-on-one, and he drive and call ball. I was like, man, ain't no ball. So he said Southside soft, like Church Hill soft. So I slammed this dude, man. This dude, man, almost broke my back, man.
Hey, man.
I stole him and he slammed me. That's exactly how it went down.
Hey, man, Big Mark Weiss just joined in. I'm Big Mark Weiss, the legend. I'm Mark Weiss from Huguenot.
Yes, sir.
I'm just joined in. He said a corner of Jank and Forest Hill Avenue. Big Mark Weiss. I'm the legend.
Yes, sir.
I'm just joined in. Yes, sir. Big Mark. Bo, you and I talk all the time, man, about the blessing that it was for you to be asked to stay home and to go to VCU, your hometown Division I team, right? And we also talked about that the time period in between when they asked you to come over from Huguenot, from the south side of Richmond, and the last time that a Richmond City kid was invited, and I think it was 17 or 19 years, the time span in between. Am I correct? Am I close?
I think Jesse went to VCU. I'm not sure the year Jesse,
Right.
but it was a gap between me and Jesse.
Huge gap.
'Cause,
Huge gap.
I was done in 01, and Jesse maybe, I don't know, but it was a gap in there. And you know, it's just so much talent on Southside, and dating back to the 60s and 70s, I mean, time before I was born. But I just hope and pray that eventually, you know, we can close that gap and get more kids, not just from Southside, but from Richmond as well, and where that black and gold. But I'm gonna tell you this though, Milk, it's hard playing at home.
Is it? I can imagine.
It is.
Talk about that a little
Lot of
bit.
pressure.
Elaborate for those kids that are listening that want to stay home and play for their hometown team. This is a gem that you're about to drop. Talk about that, Bo, if you will.
Well, for one, it's the pressure you put on yourself. You know, like if you're a competitor, you're gonna already put pressure on yourself to probably maximize your talent. But on top of that, you got the media, your family, and you know, when you lose, it's magnified.
Right.
You know, but it makes you tougher day one.
Right.
Day one. You know, my first day on campus, once I figured that out, going through preseason, it made me tougher mentally. Like you almost, I just stopped caring about what the people said about the game or how I shot or how I played what the team did. It just focused on wins, but it's pressure on you. Now, of course, when you up, you know, they're gonna wrap their arms around you big. You know how Richmond is. They'll wrap their arms around you big. But you know, when time's hard, you gotta deal with it. So if you can deal with the highs, you gotta deal with the lows.
Right.
But them lows make you tough. You know, them games, remember my sophomore year, we go down to Tulane. And I'm averaging about 19 a game, 20, you know, playing real good. And, man, they put a boxing one on me, Milk. Man, couldn't believe it. And I'm like, a college team going boxing one. And I kind of raised the headlines a little bit. And then, like, when they went boxing one, I don't think I scored that game.
Okay.
That might have been the only game in my career I did not score.
Okay.
I don't think I scored that game. But just reading the paper, and we lost that game. So, you know, you got to deal with the highs and lows and the bad write-ups, but it makes you tougher mentally, trust me. Like, don't take it as you being punished. It's a lesson, you know. And my teammates, and my teammate Lamar Taylor, him being from Richmond as well, we were roommates. So it kind of helped that we would lean on each other.
Right.
But trust me, if you can deal with the highs and the front page stuff, you know, you can deal with the bad write-ups. They're not attacking you personally. First, yeah, that's a big thing I got to say, Milk. Don't take what the press say about you personally. They writing about your performance. It's a big difference. They don't know you as a person.
Right.
Don't take it personal. I mean, that's their job. It's all motivation.
That's deep. And that's not
what my dad told me back in the day.
Yeah.
My dad always told me that. He said it's not personal what they write.
Right. And that's hard to do, Bo, because we as basketball players, we're human beings. So naturally, if someone says something about you or you're playing, you're going to naturally defend yourself verbally because, you know, like you said, but that's their job. We see that now because we, you know, done playing. But doing, it's hard to know that at 25 years old.
I learned a hard lesson from that too, Milk.
Yeah, I can believe that,
I learned a hard lesson from that.
Yeah.
My sophomore year, you know, I had a good year. And it was time for the awards banquet. And my assistant coach, Coach Ellis, he said, don't be mad if you don't get first team. So I'm like, man, all right. Didn't get first team. So I remember going back, getting dropped off in the team van. And I took the second team all-conference plaque and threw it against the bricks. So one of my teammates, hey, I snapped, Mill. I was pissed. Because I worked hard for that.
Right.
I mean, all summer, I'm in some league, I'm jogging.
Right.
I'm dedicated. And and I had the good numbers. We were winning, you know, but I made second team.
Right.
So one of my teammates, my Russian teammate, a guy named Alex Storm, man, real good guy. Didn't get much playing time. He said, "Bo, you being ungrateful. You being real ungrateful right now."
Mm-hmm.
He said, "At least they picked you for something."
Right.
So I'm like, "Man, I don't want to hear that shit, man. Please, man." Mm-hmm. You know, I'm still being emotional.
Right.
Not because I'm young, because I'm just being emotional.
Right.
So next day in practice, I said, "Storm," because I used to call him Storm. His last name Storm. I ain't call him Alex. I said, "Storm, man, you right, bro. You right. You right. It's always being ungrateful, and then sometimes, you know, God can punish you for that.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
He can,
no doubt,
because I could have used that second place motivation to get first team all tournament or player of the year in the conference tournament, but I'm being so emotional.
Right.
So the next day in practice, I had to lock in and have one of the best practices ever because I stopped taking it personal and stopped being so emotional about it. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't grateful for getting second team. And then once I read the votes, I was one vote short.
Right.
Okay, one vote. But that don't dictate success.
Right.
So that was a learning lesson right there.
Right. Right.
That's a learning lesson. And I'm glad I learned that lesson in the practice and not a game.
Right.
You know?
But a lot of people don't learn that, though, Bo.
Yeah.
A lot of people are not able to take that from that, right? It takes a positive person, like everyone that knows you knows that you're a very positive person. You got to be a positive person to spin that way, because if you're a negative person, you'll spin it negatively. And if that making sense, what I'm saying. So your positive attitude, I'm sure, helped you spin that way. Yeah,
but this is something that Warren Peters and Cole used to always tell me coming up. He said shooters gotta have that mentality that you forget real quick. So I don't know about power forwards and small forwards, you know, but point guards and two guards is true. You gotta forget real quick.
Quick, man.
Real quick.
And that's
how a short memory.
Right. Hey, they say the great ones, you know, the shooters, I'm sure, because you put in so much work, right? So I'm sure Bo Jones Jr. knows the amount of work that he put in. He knows this ball is supposed to go in the basket. He has to automatically think, wow, I can't believe I missed that. The next one will go in. It becomes comical, you know, and it becomes comical. But that comes from your repetition. That comes from, I'm sure, and some people don't realize, oh, man, hey, my father passed when I was 11 years old. I can only imagine if he was my high school coach, man. That would be fun. That's a blessing, man. And so you had your dad to teach you the game. Talk to me a little bit, and you told me something that I didn't know the other day for those people listening or will be listening. You told me that your jump shot is patterned after the great Alvin Lee from JHW in Alabama. Explain that one to me, Bo. That was deep.
Yeah. I was the ball boy for that team. And as most people don't know, coming through all the elementary school, I was okay in basketball, but I was better in football. So I got to 6th grade and we're trying to get a shot, you know, trying to get a form. And my dad said, you know, you're going to shoot like Alvin Lee. So I'm like, good. Alvin Lee's a stroke. Right. I remember as a kid, he used to jump real high. So we just started doing reps at the gym. I remember the side court. My dad and Coach Buster got together and decided on the form. Mm-hmm. So, you know, in the process of getting that form, when I got to 6th grade, I got cut from Thompson because I was in between of getting that form right. So I just kept working at it. And as you remember, rest in peace to Alvin Lee, too.
Rest in peace.
Man, legend. So,
legend.
As anybody can tell you, he had great elevation on the jump shot.
Yeah.
And my jump shot, same way. Lead the floor, quick, shoot it deep. Alvin Lee was taller than I was. So the only slight change was after the ball a little bit quicker over 6'5" and 6'6" guards. That's what they learned, but just the whole cock of the shot, laying it back, you know, that all come from Alvin Lee. That's the form. That's the form. And you know, playing for Pop was hard in high school, man.
Right.
You know, That's getting cut in 6th grade.
Right.
Because you get teased every day. Man, your dad a high school coach, you make the team. So had a lot of fights I got into.
Right.
At school, 6th grade summer, just worked through AAU, worked. 7th grade made the team, had a good year. The 8th grade played JV.
Right.
So, of course, you start hearing it again. Man, you playing JV only because your dad is the coach. So, I got tired of hearing that shit, Milk. And it just got to a point, I just started feeling a chip on my shoulder.
Right.
You know, growing up with a speech problem, it was hard to communicate at times, but certain words I could say. And I'm going to bust your ass. I ain't had no problem saying that. Hey, Mill, ain't no problem saying that.
Hey, boy, you wild.
Hey, Mill, that whole summer, it was hunting season. And I got to, so the guys my age, they had like kind of stopped saying, you know, not being arrogant, but I had to start proving them, all right, I'm coming. So, of course, I get to high school, and 11th grade guys who get cut, seniors, I'm starting hearing, man, you better not make the team, man. I'm like, all right. So I had to dig deep some more.
Right.
So, man, trials come. No, night before trials, Dan was like, you trying to go varsity. But I knew what time it was, though. So, you know, varsity go one end, JV other. You know how it was.
Right.
So I go down there with all the guys. But I had played some summertime ball with the varsity guys. You know, Damon, Sean Miller, Polkey, Rodney Hawkins, and them guys. So, I think I did okay. But I wasn't sure until, you know, trials come, end up playing varsity. And my first varsity game, you know, back then, in 92, man, playing varsity freshman was like crazy.
Right.
My first game, we played Armstrong, played Billy and them. Played Billy and Sterling them. In the first game, he beat us. And I had 10 points. I'm like, man, all right, I can do this. You know, and of course, I can't mention my freshman year without mentioning the Iverson story. So, you know, freshman year go along, and we played like in the Christmas tournament, Milk. You was overseas there, Milk.
Okay.
Like, you probably heard this story before.
Okay.
So we played in Fort Eustis tournament down Fort Eustis. So down 7-5-7. So we get to the game. We win our first game, and we match up with Iverson. Him and Tony Rugg. It was in 7-5-7 now, Milk.
Right.
Man. So we stayed in the hotel down there as a team. So the night for the game, my dad called me to the room and was like, look, I'm going to throw you out there tomorrow. I'm like, man, Dad, look, we got Damon, we got Sean Miller, we got Will, but no, he don't need me tomorrow. No, you know, because I and Tony Rugg. I'm like, you know, I said, no, Dad, we're going to be all right with them. And he was like, no, son, listen, I'm going to need you tomorrow, but on the win, stay ready. So the game go on, Milk. Hey, Milk, it's packed house now. Hey, Milk.
Yeah.
And, hey, it's packed, though. We down there at 7-5-7. So, you know, Fessner was there, Andre Hayes, I think Parkway, a couple of guys from Grisham was there. And we, you know, we holding our own. Holding our own, banging with them. And our point guard, Damon, man, hurt his ankle. So I'm on the end of the bench. I'm like, damn. So I see Pop taking his stroll back. He keep backing up, you know. Call me in the game. So he said, all right, you ready. So it's crazy, Milk. True story. So I don't know how I even knew this. So I get in the game, and he come at me on the break, you know, and give me a crossover, man. Cross me over, lay it up, crowd go crazy. So next time down, we get fouled. So I can go to my dad and say, don't you ever put this freshman on me again. So I heard him say this to my pops, bro. But, you know, really, it wasn't shit I could do. And hey, Milk, instantly, man, that put something in me.
Right there.
Never again, man, I'm getting embarrassed with my dad. Never. Never. And they're going to happen to me ever again. So I mean, instantly, Milk, he just burned me up. But it wasn't much I could do, man. But Iverson was a crazy child. Like, he's the only player I've ever seen who's fast and quick. You know, most players are either quick or fast. man, he's A1 in both.
And
not to mention, I mean, he could finish above the rim.
Right.
But that game definitely, you know, it fueled me going forward.
Mm-hmm.
But playing with my dad was tough because of his expectation, my expectation, and just coming on with it every day.
Right.
You know, my mom in the sport, so she ain't letting stuff go. She gonna have her input.
Hey.
My brother gonna have his input, and my dad gonna have his input.
Right. But that's a beautiful thing to have your family. That's a beautiful thing to have your family all encouraging you. You know, giving you positive input. And I'm sure that that's a blessing because some kids don't have anyone at home that knows the game. Some kids can't get input on basketball or what they're doing in school. Parents can't input on math or science, and not just basketball. So that's a blessing. I'm sure that was what kept you going, man, to become the legend that you are. Talk about a little bit, Coach Jones. I'm talking a little bit. You and I talk every day, so we'll let the people in a little bit on our conversations. We talk every day. You and I talk about what we can do to help young men who are in high school trying to go to college, the NCAA transfer portal. So I'll ask you to put on your NCAA coach's hat for a minute. Explain to those of our listeners like myself who are novices, how does that go, Coach? Because I think the number is growing daily. 2,000 kids in the transfer portal. How does that work? So explain, break it all the way down. Break it all the way down for us.
Well, basically, transfer portal is a database that kids can go and they're basically free agents, basically. You know, and I'm in favor for it because it gives the kids more power. I mean, coach could always do it. Now players can, and some don't have to sit out. So they can go to say VCU for a year, and the kid not satisfied with academics or playing time, whatever, want to be closer to home, and he can go on the portal, and teams can pretty much, you know, offer what they have to offer for him, as far as academics and athletics. And with the portal, it also hinders high school kids. Now, of course, the top-notch elite guys will always get their exposure, but those midway guys, they're now being pushed to the back.
Right.
Because coaches can go to the portal and grab experienced guys who's already been on campus and know how it is being in the classroom, being a good role model and leader, staying out of trouble, and being on time for your basketball activities. So they can grab from the portal as opposed to grabbing a kid from high school who they have to put through somewhat of the washing machine and dryer of being a student athlete.
Right.
So recruiting has definitely slowed down for a lot of high school kids. Unfortunately, kids just need some home, and it's just that combined with COVID, you know, is a perfect storm. Right. And I hate to use that word, but you combine those two things for a kid who has some D2 interests. Right. Now, D2 interests don't mean offers. That was sometimes parents and kids confused. Interest means the school may have some interest in the kid and want to see him in a couple more games.
Right.
You know, offer means they want you to sign letter of intent, LOI, and that's good for 1 year. You know, so is the terminology, like understanding how it works. And a kid may have the interest. He did it last year, Milt. If a kid had interest as a sophomore, in that school, he could see him his junior year.
Right.
See his progression over the summer, see his strengths, see his academics.
Right.
But COVID hit, season canceled. So now that coach gonna drop that high school kid, maybe off his radar, and he gonna choose from the portal, and he can find a kid who's experienced and may have more skills. So, and unfortunately, that's in the Richmond area. All 50 states are going through it.
Right.
I know, but don't confuse the top kids will always get their due, but the kids with the interest and the high offers, you know, kind of messing them up. And there's so many kids in this area that you, myself, and some other people are trying to help. But, you know, there's only so many spots, too.
Right.
It's a numbers game.
Right.
You know, it's a numbers game. So I tell kids, even with junior college, you know, some 4-year schools will come to a JUCO and recruit before they go get a kid out of high school.
Right.
You know, because some JUCO kids don't have to stay 2 years.
Right.
That's a misconception right there. You can go JUCO if you're a qualifier from the NCAA, right, from the clearinghouse, meaning you succeeded all your academic requirements.
Okay.
You can go JUCO and leave and still have three possible 4 years.
So,
because I went through that.
Right. Okay.
See, most folks don't understand or don't know. You know, I keep my stuff private sometimes, but as I get older, guys like yourself, you know, been encouraging me to share some of my stories. So I left Houston and I had 3 offers. I had Southern California, Georgetown, Syracuse. So Georgetown wanted me to red shirt, you know, for strength purposes, and so did Syracuse, because Jay Benheim liked big guards. The assistant coach was more in love with me than Jim, but because the fact they'd have to shoot and score, you know, it kept the interest. So, and of course, Southern California was the best deal, but I just didn't want to go that far from home at that time. But ended up going to a junior college, Atlanta Metro, in Atlanta, Georgia. I went there. I went there for a semester, from September through December. So that was a great experience. You know, leaving home at 17, I was young enough to finish high school.
Right.
So they made a funny story. My dad dropped me off in the middle of Freaknik on the highway.
Damn.
That was the first day I had to check in. Was Freaknik. So that was a great experience to see that. You know, it's mind blowing at that age, seeing that kind of activity.
Right.
In that environment. So it was mind blowing. So you know, back to the basketball part. I went there and I played in the Jamboree before the season started. So I got word that Tucker Smith, who was at Georgia at that time, you know, had some things on me coming over there. So being that I was a qualifier, I could leave at any time.
Okay.
So long story short, Tucker ended up going to Kentucky. I came back home to VCU with 4 years to play. So kids can go junior college and stay for a semester or stay for a year. I recommend stay for a year, get all your credits.
Right.
And then go to a 4-year school and still have 3 years to play. Then if it takes 2 years, then go ahead and transfer over. So it's so many ways you can pimp the JUCO system, but people think JUCO for bad kids have been in jail. No. Kids have a criminal past. They don't matter.
Right.
They use JUCO to get ahead in life. I mean, we all make mistakes, but that's a misconception. Now, you do have older kids in junior college. You got some kids, 23, 22. I mean, so what? Everybody's path ain't the same.
Right.
You know, some kids go to the Army, then come back.
Right.
Are they too old? I mean, they service the country. How can you tell them they're too old to come play?
That's
and they didn't service the country. That's crazy.
That's crazy, yeah.
That's crazy. So, I just encourage parents to just read up on it and don't rely on the coaches to come tell you information. You know, we got smartphones and laptops. We got to do some of this stuff on our own and get educated on each resource, whether it's prep school, reclassing, post-grad, JUCO, preferred walk-ons. There's so many ways to pimp the system.
Right.
When I say pimp the system is getting you a free education for free while playing sports.
Right.
You know, ain't nothing wrong with saying that.
Right.
Maybe pimp is the wrong word, but, you know, I mean, that's what you got to do. Because it's a business.
It's a business.
I mean, look at the NCAA tournament. It's a business. Look at the football. It's a business.
Right.
So if they don't get paid, then the student athletes, we get some other deal too. And the kids having more power with the transfer portal. Now, of course, there's some bad things with the portal. You get kids that don't want to work hard, say, man, I'm transferring. Or the guy in front of me too good instead of fighting for his job. I mean, so there's some pros and cons to it, but just use to the best of your ability.
Right. Now, you just said something that when I was coming along, of course, I'm a little bit older than you. I read somewhere where the student athletes will start receiving compensation.
Yeah.
Explain that to people like myself that don't understand it, that's from a different time period. How is that going to work, Bo Jones, where the kids are going to start receiving compensation from the school or from the NCAA?
I'm not quite sure how it's going to work out, Milk.
Right.
It is.
But it's long overdue. I'm sure you will agree that it's long overdue. Long overdue.
Yeah. It's long overdue. Because even with a free education, that's not enough.
Right.
You know, it's not enough.
Right.
And if they making billions and off the guy's likeness, then why can't the guy get paid? You know, but it's going to be some pros and cons because you'll get football players getting paid more than a baseball player, and those some questions that a baseball player can answer.
Right.
You know, is that fair? Probably not.
Right.
Is the fourth player on the volleyball team get paid the same as the starting DN with 8 sacks in 8 games?
Right.
You know, so those some questions will have to be answered because if I'm the parent of the fourth volleyball player, then all my son to get paid too.
Right.
But you know, it comes down to, as you know, what sport generates the most sports and football rules. As you said, you know, so that backup receiver at Alabama might get more than the point guard at Man State, Texas.
Right. Hey man, you and I know it's a business, like you said. We have so many of our TMBT Pro players that were at the last showcase that Terrence and these guys want to switch gears to put your pro cap on. We asked you to kind of a while back to put your NCAA coach's cap on. Now we want to ask you to switch it up and put your TMBT Pro head coach cap. And you had a showcase here the other day, brother, that was incredible as everything that you do. And so we are so thankful to have you leading our young men to show them not only how to do it, but what it looks like. And you know, and you got to carry yourself like a pro. You have to have extreme confidence in yourself, what you're doing, and it's just an honor and a blessing to have someone. You and your father, I'm sure, he's been tuning in, and want to ask you about what you saw, what you implemented. Talk to us a little bit about your mind frame going into that showcase, what you wanted to teach, what you had in your mind, and what you wanted to teach as well as the next one that we'll be doing this weekend in Richmond, Virginia. Talk a little bit about your pro mindset, your mindset as a pro basketball coach.
Man, the showcase was good. You know, I thought the guys played hard. I just gave them some pro set, some basic pro set like bar spacing, 15 to 18 feet apart. You know, small things about cutting ball side, staying wide, driving kick, ball side corner. Just some basic terminology, and just hold them and be creative with it. Right. You know, most of the guys were in shape. Some could have been in better shape, but I think they all learned something. So, I mean, anytime you go to a showcase and they learn one thing, it's a win for both sides. Right. So, you know, all the guys play hard and well. I thought there was some good competition out there.
Right.
They all listen. That's the biggest thing. Everybody listens. So when you listening like you're not talking, you can learn a lot. It's being a sponge about it. But it was a good showcase. The ones coming up, looking forward to that one. The one in Miami as well. So just want to keep stacking brick by brick on each end.
Right. You mentioned Miami. Of course, we have our next camp here in Richmond, Virginia on the 17th. And the following weekend will be in Miami, Florida on April 24th. Talk a little bit about that camp, that showcase, and that different group of guys. What you're looking forward to getting down to Miami, seeing a different group, and the mindset that you're trying to teach those young men that it'll be your first time working with them. Some of these guys in Richmond, Trevor Lewis, and these guys, Prentice Bell, they've had a chance to work with you before, but you'll have a brand new group in Miami, other clients, a whole different group. For those guys listening, I see a lot of these guys are listening now. What do you...
Well, just the same mindset, it's the same mindset of being professional.
Right.
I'm going to give them a whole different set from my game with the Richmond guys. You know, I think it's important with the pro game, just giving guys different concepts. A lot of the program like is based on concepts, so there'll be some different concepts, some different drills, and just you know, being a basketball player, it's easy to meet other basketball players. If you get what I'm saying, you know, and hopefully my hands be good by then. I can demonstrate a lot more, so that'll definitely help out. But I mean, if not, I can communicate either way and just make it work. And you know, coaching strangers is a part of hooping. You know, certain things from hooping and coaching don't transfer over, but certain things do. Wow. So just the whole communication, like in the interaction between a coach and player, coach, you get to make it work. Right. You know, coaching strangers, like once you're in the court, they're not strangers no more. Yeah. You know, it's somebody you know, right, with the same mindset you got, I will hope.
Right. And that's big, man. You of course, we heard so much great feedback from the young men that even though you didn't have much time with them, the sad thing was that you only had a couple hours with them. And so some of them wanted to do some training before or after or what have you. But I'm sure it's tough, like you and I talk about. It's almost like reprogramming someone because you have to take the information off the hard drive that some other coach has installed and reinstall your information and your knowledge and everything that you want this kid to be. So it's tough, and that's why you and I talk about all the time. It's such a breath of fresh air to get a young kid, 10 years old, that has not been mentally programmed basketball yet. I mean, he hadn't been taught, and the first person who teaches him is you, and that's a blessing where you get a chance to kind of. Not to say that anyone else's information is wrong, but you know your information is tried and true. And so it's you know, it's one of those things. I'm sure you guys see it a lot at Richard Bland as well. You have to reprogram that kid. That kid comes to you guys thinking that he knows how to play. But in actuality, he knows nothing about the game.
A lot of the same drills you do at rec is what carry overs as an adult.
Right.
And a triple threat. Ball fix, stand balance,
right,
carry over.
Right.
The same with school. You know, it just carried over. So your foundation is a lot. And I never tell a kid that like what they learned was wrong. And I may feel like it's wrong, but I'll never tell a kid that. I'll just say here's a different way to do that. Because if you tell a kid that's wrong, then you pretty much kind of breaking their relationship up, and then you don't want to touch that. You know. Because you don't know what that person is to that kid. So my man Orloff logged on. He down in Miami, man. That's what I was telling you about then.
Orloff, okay. I mean,
but that's the biggest thing. Is I always tell kids, like, here's a different way to do that. Right. Or like, here's the proper way to do it. And then once the kid takes it, you know, he can carry it back and share with somebody else.
He call you Bo Flip Phone.
Yeah.
Your boy Orlov call you a Bo Flip Phone. Coach Carter from Miami. Coach Donovan Carter, part of our TMBT Miami family. He's tuning in as well. He says, "Get well soon, Bo." Coach Carter, we appreciate you tuning in to us as well.
Yeah, he just want to joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. He want to joke. Tenth Dennis.
He called you Flip Phone. What, you had a flip phone when you was at VCU, Bo?
Yeah. We was in Puerto Rico, man. That's a wild dude.
Hey, Coach.
From Russia with love.
I'm from Russia with love. Hey, why I got. Talk about for those parents that are
that's
listening,
my guy
bro.
right there, though.
For those parents that are listening, man, and you and I are trying to do some more things together, partnering up. Talk to them a little bit about your Bo Jones basketball endeavor that you started, man. I'm very proud of you for giving back and dedicating something and time to these kids, man. Talk to our listeners a little bit about your Bo Jones basketball and where you got the inspiration.
Man, all that come from is just guys. I'm giving back with guys getting me at this age. You know, Parkway, you, Fetch, P, you know, I'm just giving back, man. That's all it is. And nothing too complicated. Just helping kids out. I pretty much train for free because that's what you guys gave me. You know, you guys gave me that opportunity to just be a spawn. So that's what I'm doing. And it just provided for the community, man. Ain't nothing too complicated. It's just helping kids out.
Right.
You know, with my experience in college, it's been around the game for a long time at an early age. I think I'm blessed because I coach boys and girls, women and men. So I can relate to both sides, and it's a big difference. So, you know, I'm very blessed for that.
Right. But that has to be, like we talk about passion projects, by you being born and raised Richmond, Virginia, playing basketball at Virginia Commonwealth University, being one of 3 that has ever done that, and now giving back to your community. And those of us that know you know that you love kids, man. Your father was a teacher. You're a teacher. You went to VCU, Huguenot High School, where you had a diverse culture at your school. So when you train kids now, you train kids, and you have kids and parents that love you of all cultures and religions and creeds and colors, man. So that's the beautiful thing about it and about you, is that you represent so much positivity, and that comes from your family. Of course, us that know you know that, but it's just a breath of fresh air because you don't normally see young guys like yourself so dedicated to helping kids, Bo. And you've been doing this, you've been coaching boys and girls, so you've been doing this since you were a young guy. And it's funny because most people, me included, when you're a young guy, it hadn't hit you to give back yet. You still trying to chase some women or trying to figure out what you want to do. You know, you're having fun with your friends. You knew at an early age that you wanted to give back, and you started giving back at an early age, brother. That's not easy to do.
That's God's grace, man. It can't explain it, man. When I got to like 28, 29, I started coaching girls, and it's God's grace. I can't explain it. He's be putting me in situations to help people out, and that's what I do.
Right.
You know, just serving, man. That's the biggest thing.
Right.
You know, because you guys, like I keep saying that, I just follow behind you guys all day long, man, and just learning, man, picking up on stuff, how to save money,
Right.
and you know,
Right.
when it be seen, when not to be seen.
Right.
You know, don't reach your own clippings. You know, you guys got to do so much, so I'm giving the guys behind me and the guys beside me the same ordeal, man.
Right.
You know,
Right.
big.
Well,
It's big, man.
well,
So many guys. Tell the guys now that we all on the same page, from the camera guy to the 4th grade coach. We all on the same team.
Right.
Like, it's no separation.
Right.
A lady at the front desk taking tickets,
Right.
right?
Right.
She just reported as the coach.
Right. Amen.
The mom that dropped her kid off that has to go to work, and the parent that coordinate with her, we
Right.
all on the same team.
Right. Right.
But like when you start in the back, kids go astray because the kids looking for the parents to stay tight.
Mm-hmm.
But if the parents don't have no gaps, then the kids they're gonna fall in place.
Right. Right.
They'll,
And that's what we've been taught, Bo. And it's tried and true. You and I come from a generation that we've seen it done. So you can't tell us that it can't be done where the kids fall in place. The adults set the standard, the bar, and the kids fall in place. That's the way it was.
Yep.
That's the way it had to be. If you planned on living under your parents' roof, then it had to be like that. Well, no When no child support services and child services come help you, you can call a hotline. No, I want none of that. You had to do what them people said to do, and that was the beauty of it, that you knew that those people loved you, and what they were telling you to do was for your best interest. So you didn't even think about not doing it. It didn't cross your mind to not do it. It didn't. Because you knew it.
It's been so many times, guys like Terry Davis and just so many examples, man. I could be going to a liquor store and they'll pop up. Nah, young blood, no, we ain't doing that.
Right.
Where you come from, man?
Right.
Man, I'm serious, but ask the guys back in my generation. I mean, you was around milk.
Right.
Just learning how to order off menus after we play ball.
Right.
Not getting the fries and chicken and eating right, sleeping right.
Right.
But still having a balanced social life.
Right.
So it was a big influence on my life, even to this day.
Right. And I want to piggyback off that. Yesterday, you and I had a Zoom call. We had a conference call. We are trying to incorporate the using our Lion Energy Wellness company to incorporate some type of therapy and recovery into our pro showcases, right? You said something yesterday that really stuck with me, and it's true. You said kids today think that recovery means going to Chick-fil-A to get a chicken sandwich and fries. And bro, it was some of the most funniest stuff I had ever heard, but it was also very true. Talk to us about your mindset from a professional athlete standpoint, recovery, and how important it is to the pro body, to the pro mind.
Man, to the pro body is that's your money maker. Right. And that's your best ability is being availability. That's your best ability. So getting your proper sleep, getting your proper rest, eating right is important. But I mean, I get it. Sometimes the finances may hinder you from eating proper. But if you can't afford it, your post-game meal can't be Chick-fil-A large size with the milkshake. And then you play again at 7 o'clock, man, because I'm telling you, second quarter, you're going to be done. Second quarter,
Dennis says Lee's chicken. Dennis Orlov says Lee's chicken, maybe, and he put the chicken in. Yeah. See, chicken was a bad idea. But I was that dude, man. I had crazy eating habits, so I would not want much before a game. I would play like fairly empty stomach. Right.
But then after the game, I'm smashing.
Right.
And to learn my lesson from that and like learning how to recover and eating them greens, man. Them greens important every day, and the water.
Right.
Putting the right thing. All right. Eat tomato with seeds. Hey, listen. If your tomato don't have seeds, man, don't eat that bad boy.
Yeah.
Especially that don't got seeds in it.
That's that newfangled. But that's crazy, Bo, because we talk about nutrition and we try to talk about, try to explain to our young men, because so many people think that it's all about working out. And yes, working out is a huge part of your regimen, but what you eat may be, I may go out on a limb and say, all depend on what you're going to ask your body to do. What you put into it is just as important, if not more important, than your weights. Because if you lifting weights hard and you going to Popeyes and getting the chicken, it's not, you're killing your workout. So you can build your body by using bands and eating well. So I'm saying that to say you don't have to go lift heavy weights and then go eat Popeye's chicken, because you can do it the healthy way. There's a healthy way to do it, and it's beautiful. And I think it's something that you and I consciously talk about, trying to share with our young men to let them know, hey, just because your friends are doing it doesn't mean you have to eat it. You have to. Your friend's not going your way. Your friend's not trying to play pro basketball. So you got to have a discipline about you where you have to do different, right? If everyone in your house is eating hardest chicken or I don't know, fried rice, right? You're gonna have to sit. No, I'm gonna have to have some veggies, some greens. You know, where'd you learn that? Did you learn that? At what age did that hit you? Did you know that? Okay, I'm gonna have to switch some things. At what age?
Probably around 10th grade year.
10th grade. Okay.
I remember meniscus in that. I went to the doctor and they had to rehab and he really was stressing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, eating better, cholesterol, blood pressure, like all at a young age. So it's easy to hear him because I couldn't play.
Right.
I was so that's when I learned like at an early age. You got to start eating right. But you know, I didn't have the best eating habits. I wasn't A1. I wasn't always consistent with it. But I just like playing like on an empty stomach. But I tell kids now, man, you gotta eat right and sleep right and stretch properly.
Right.
You
gotta do it.
I mean, that's very important.
You gotta do it.
You know, I tell kids all the time, basketball is a game, is a series of short sprints. And we think about it, Milt, how many times you ran from baseline to baseline full speed over your career? On a few occasions, right?
Right. Hey.
But for the most part, basketball is a game of short sprints. So when you train in condition, you train, of course, the long sprints for press and running court transition, but you got to master the short sprint game. That's basketball conditioning. Short sprints.
It's deep. That's
half
deep.
court back, court back, help side, closing out, from baseline to the top, whatever the case is, I'm in the gap.
Right.
That's all short sprints.
Right.
So when you master short sprint game, and then you add that with your condition throughout the week, then late in that fourth quarter, your legs don't get tired.
Right.
Your mind don't get tired.
Right. And you training. Coach, we know you got a busy day every day. I'm on the phone with you all day, so I know how busy you are. But I got to ask you because you received so much. You received so much backlash, Coach. I want to ask you about your all the backlash that you received about your top 5 shooters in Richmond, Virginia. We're gonna give you a chance to. We're gonna give you a chance to fix that real quick, Coach. Real quick, you can fix it. We're gonna give you top 10 this time, Coach, not top 5. Can't do top 5. That's too much pressure for a guy from the South Side. Top 10.
Hey, Mill, I can name top 30, but we're gonna hop back on tonight though. You said top 10.
Yeah, give me a top 10 real quick, Bojo.
What? Off the dome, right?
Off the top, nothing written down.
Hey, Mill.
Huh?
Yeah, all right. Off the top, okay. Andre Ingram, 1. Brandon Rozelle, that's 2.
Yeah, no order, just no order, no 1, 2, or 3, just how they come to your mind, no order.
So I can use my old list?
Right, your old list. You can do it however you want. No order, just how they come to your mind.
Brandon Ingram, Brandon Rozelle, Tyrese Rice, Ben Jesse, Warren Peebles, Touche, Sean Miller, Tyreek Wallace, Roy Jones from Meadowbrook. How many is that, Mill?
That's 8, I think. 7 or 8.
That's 8.
8.
All right. 12 more. Hold on. Man, Kenny Williams from Bird, UNC. I'm gonna go with Big Took from Wilf.
Okay.
Alvin Lee.
Okay.
Alvin Lee. Who else? Who else was a great shooter? Kevin Swan for James River. Look him up. Joey Sweats. Of course, Rod Wheeler. Mudu Lee. Man, when we keep going.
That's it, Bo. Boom. That should get people off your back, Bo. Hey, that should get people off your back because.
I can throw Ed Sherrod.
Right. Ed Sherrod.
I got 5 minutes. Hold on. I got 5 minutes. Let me think. I'm gonna go with who was shooter, some stroke. I said Joey Sweats. Oh, my boy. Rip Morris from Hopewell. Vance from Hopewell. Vance Harmon. Fred. Tomcat. Keep going.
That's good, Bo. Bo, we're going to shut it down because we know you got to get to your practice, Bo.
Keep going, man.
No, Bo, don't give him no more, Bo. Look, we're holding for part 2. Because we're going to do a part 2 coming up after the event on this weekend. So we'll give you a chance to come back and give your part 2 list because so many people got to be on it. So many people want to be on your list, Bo. So we're going to shut it down, brother. We appreciate you hanging out with us, man. And we're going to shut it down for the day. Bo Jones Jr., VCU basketball legend. I'm Richmond legend. Thank you, my brother.